Rabbits is a horror sitcom, or short film, depending on how you're watching it, written and directed by David Lynch in 2002. It stars Scott Coffey, Laura Harring, and Naomi Watts as three humanoid rabbits living in a shadowy apartment. It's filmed mostly with one camera centered in on the living room of the apartment, and it's played out like a sitcom. But the lighting and pacing is nothing like your normal sitcom at all.
Were there any calls?
What time is it?
There is a laugh track, but it comes in at the most inappropriate times, and it goes on for a little too long.
All day.
I mean, this is David Lynch that made it, so it's not going to be a Full House or a step-by-step. This is going to be a David Lynch sitcom all the way, and that's exactly what this is. In a normal sitcom, there's a lot of lighting, so that way that everybody can move fluidly throughout different cameras without there needing to be anything relit or readjusted. So everybody on your standard 3-camera sitcom is going to be very well lit. But on Rabbits, there's an ominous shadow cast behind all the rabbits. There's a silhouette. The general plot rundown of Rabbits is that there isn't one. There is dialogue, but it's very disjointed. And you quickly realize in watching it that it all seems to be out of order.
It may even be later.
I am going to get them.
The lines somewhat make sense to what's going on around them. Things like it being really dark outside and the rain starting and stopping. But there are also lines that allude to something a little bit greater, like a secret or a mystery that's going on. And the general discomfort and disorder of the lines kind of makes it feel more like a big puzzle that you're trying to piece it together. But of course, you're not going to be able to piece it together, and no 45-minute long YouTube video or article online is going to help you piece it together, as is David Lynch. There really isn't a whole lot of sense to be made out of the things that he does. Not a lot of narrative going on. It's more about that feeling that you get watching the things that he makes.
There is no moon tonight.
And that brings me to the music. The music is made by Angelo Badalamenti, who is a longtime collaborator with David Lynch. They've worked on Twin Peaks together, Blue Velvet. Angelo Badalamenti's music in Rabbits is the perfect complement to the eerie but comforting vibe that you get from watching it. It actually reminds me a lot of the early Silent Hill games, where you're on edge the entire time, but you don't really know why. And at the same time, you also feel strangely comforted. I get a lot of Silent Hill vibes from pretty much every David Lynch thing I watch, which is probably why I like him so much. It reminds me of playing those games when I was younger. Also, I think Angelo Badalamenti and David Lynch have a jazz album together, which I'm not 100% on, but if that's true, that's fucking phenomenal. So the music, the lighting, the pacing, the disjointed dialogue all really makes this experience something you absolutely have to watch if you're a David Lynch fan. And if you've never seen a David Lynch film, I would of course recommend Twin Peaks or Eraserhead to sort of get you into the idea of his work, because those things have a little bit more plot going on and are a little bit easier to swallow at first. And then you can really get into the nitty-gritty of what he does and things like this, Rabbits, even movies like Inland Empire that just have absolutely no narrative going on, but it's just great to watch. Rabbits might seem slow and like there's not really anything going on if you're watching it, and that's because it is slow and there's not really much going on, but that really adds to the experience. And again, it's all about ambiance. It's all about the atmosphere that David Lynch created. He actually filmed this in his backyard in Los Angeles, so he could have complete control of the lighting. He did it at night, and you just really get this feeling of David Lynch having complete control over a project and just doing this his way. I'm still not really sure if it was originally released in an episodic format like an actual sitcom, or if it was released just as one long short film, because I've kind of seen it both ways. There's a full version that's about 45 minutes that's on YouTube currently, but it also seems that David Lynch is releasing them piece by piece on YouTube on his channel, which is great. It's actually how I was introduced to it. So if you want to watch rabbits, I recommend turning off all the lights, lighting a cherry pie scented candle, and just soaking up that ambiance, because that, in my opinion, is what it's all about.